Hey guys, Troy Francis coming at you from London. Are you an object of fascination to the women that you meet? If you're not, then it's something that you need to think about, okay? Too many guys who come into this space, or they seek out content about dating, or they seek to improve their dating outcomes, are not objects of fascination for women, okay? They might be very well put together, they might be intelligent, they might be rich, or at least they might be, well, you know, have a decent job, decent income. They might go to the gym, you know, they might lift. But are they fascinating her? Are they moving her on some deeper level? Are they making her wonder about themselves? And the answer is often no. Okay, and this goes back to this thing that I always talk about, and it's easier to sort of say it in a very superficial way rather than to really get down to details in it, and that is that far too many guys are a bit boring, okay? And that, in the end, is their biggest problem, okay? They're a bit boring, they're kind of normies, they're a bit beige, and there's not really a lot of edge to them, okay? Now, no accident that myself and James Tusk put together that course called The Edge last year, and we may reopen it at some point this year, I don't know yet. And we were trying to encourage guys to have this edge to them, okay? And we were talking about it in the context of the bad boy thing, actually. We were saying, well, look at, you know, these women like these bad boys, why is it they like them, bloody, bloody, blah. But without going there, we don't need to talk about the bad boy stuff now, but you need to have something about you that creates interest in you, and it continues to keep her interested, okay? How do you do that? Well, I think one of the things, and this is a problem that all guys have to some extent, some more than others, is that you have to stop being so logical and linear, okay? And I'm looking at you, crypto guys who've made a lot of money, in your 20s or maybe your early 30s, and you've done very well, but you're quite analytical, you're quite cerebral, you're quite logical, you like spreadsheets, you know, all of that good stuff. You like looking at graphs, you like looking at tables, and the way that you see the world is shaped like that, okay? It's, you know, very regimented, very logical, and all of that's fine. All of that's great for business, and it's great from a male perspective. You know, guys tend to be like that, by and large. Not every guy, but a lot of guys tend to be quite like that. And that's fine, because communicating with guys is a different beast, really, because men are quite straightforward for the most part. They are quite logical. They are less emotional, by and large, perhaps, in the way that they interrelate with one another, okay? With women, it's very different, okay? With women, you want to be much more playful. You want to, and you don't want to sort of give everything away. One of the worst things you can do in an initial interaction or on a date is have this very logical back and forth exchange of information, okay? What do you do for work? I'm a lawyer. What do you do for work? I'm an accountant. Oh, that's interesting. How long have you done that for? I've done it for 5 years. How long have you done it for? I've done it for 7.5 years. Oh, really? Very cool. When did you join the firm? I joined, you know, like that sort of back and forward. It's imparting information, okay? So maybe you can say, well, I'm getting to know her because we're imparting information to one another, but it's not imparting anything emotionally, okay? And this, I think, is where the fascination that I'm talking about comes from. Imparting something to her emotionally, okay? What emotion is she feeling when she talks to you? All right? And how do people feel emotion? Well, they feel emotion in many situations, of course, but one of the ways that people feel emotion is when they're not quite sure. They're not quite sure. They're trying to work out the other person. What is it that makes this person tick? Or even, how come this person is so confident? That's another way of evoking emotion. Why is this person so confident? Why does this person say these things? Why is this person not following the usual Matrix approved conversational script? Why does this person think that it's okay for him to subvert certain societal niceties? Like, he's not laughing at all of my jokes. You know, he's not acting impressed when I tell him I'm a model. Why is it okay for him to do that? What is it about him that makes him a bit different to these other guys that I've met? Okay, and again, this is where this not falling down into the trap of this logical backwards and forwards in the conversation comes. All right, you want to be somewhat unpredictable. I'm not talking about just being this complete loose cannon where, you know, she doesn't know if he's going to just stand up and strip off and dance naked around the restaurant. You don't want to be, you know, like that, but you want to have a degree of unpredictability about you. You want to be hard to work out, okay? That is going to create emotion of a kind. It's at least going to create curiosity, all right? And in the best case, it's going to create this fascination that I'm talking about. If you're this very bland, beige guy who has this worldview that things are a certain way and this is how they should be and that it's largely unchangeable, then you're not going to come across as being very attractive. I'm sorry, but that's just the way it is, okay? The next thing is neediness, okay? You've got to, we say this all the time, you've got to be not too needy, all right? Now, there's a fine balance to be had here, because on the one hand, yes, you should own the fact that you think she's attractive. You should own the fact you think she's cute. You know, you don't want to be one of those guys who's trying to go in under the guise of friendship and like, oh, you know, just tell me about your, you know, tell me about your internship, tell me about working for that NGO in Africa, that's really interesting, blah, 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 when secretly you're attracted to her, okay? You want to foreground the fact that you're attracted to her. You know, that is the context in which we meet. I think you are attractive, I think you're cute, I think you are somebody I want to get to know on that basis. Okay, so that's the starting point. But after that, you have to not be too needy, right? It has to be a sense of, okay, look, you are attractive. I'm a guy. You're a woman. I think you're attractive. But at the same time, I want to find out more about you. Okay? And personality counts. And if there's something that doesn't click quite right with the way that you come across, then that's going to be a deal breaker for me. So, for example, you know, you might like to meet women who are really into fitness, you know, because that's an interest of yours, and it's very important to you, you know, that you're dating somebody who likes to go to the gym, who likes to keep themselves in shape, maybe who likes to do some cardio the weekends, whatever it is. Does she do those things? If she doesn't, if she says, well, no, actually, I just like sitting on the couch, eating Cheetos, and watching Love Island, even if she's really cute and you find her very attractive, you should be prepared at that point to walk away, because she's disqualified herself as far as your standards are concerned. Okay, so, you know, no hard feelings, but I don't think this is going to work between the two of us, so, you know, have a great day. And then you leave. That lack of neediness and that sense that you are trying to figure her out, partly for your own interest, partly because you are interested in other human beings and you're interested in her specifically, but also because, you know, you want to see whether she's right for you. That is also going to keep her on her toes somewhat, okay? Because too many guys are too needy and they are thirsty for female attention. And so when any woman shows them, you know, the right degree of interest, is you know, reciprocating in conversation, seems to be, you know, smiling at them, it looks like it could go somewhere, then most guys are just going to be like, right, okay, I'm on board. No question. You know, right, I'm on board. That's it. Done. And you don't want to be that guy because you're making it too easy for her. I was talking to a girl the other day, actually. We recorded some street videos, which I'm going to put out quite soon. And I was talking to one girl and I asked her about the bad boy thing. What is it? Why is it that girls like bad boys? And she said, well, she said something, and I paraphrase along the lines of, well, look, the problem is that the nice guy, the stereotypical nice guy, you are too aware that you've got him. It's too apparent immediately. Okay, it's tied down. He likes me. He's not going anywhere. Job done. And that in itself is a turn-off because he's too available. Okay, because remember, we like the things, we covet those things that are harder to get. All right? You know, it's simple demand and supply, isn't it? If something's scarce, we covet it more than if it's something that's readily available, right? That's why gold is more expensive than rice, for example, you know? I mean, the scarcer a material is, the more worth it has. Well, it's the same in terms of socializing, right? The more scarce you appear, and in this context, that means you're not just going to give yourself to anybody, right? There's got to be some sort of standards met, okay? The more attractive you're going to be perceived. So that's the next thing. Not being too boring, not being too logical, not being too linear, not being too needy, okay? And the third thing, really, is having an interesting life, okay? Do you have an interesting life? Have you traveled to some cool places? Have you done some cool things? Have you written a book? Have you learned a sport to a very high level? Have you done this? Have you done that? You know, have you traveled through the jungle with only a hip flask to keep you company? Have you climbed Mount Everest? Whatever it is, right? You know, you want to be living an interesting life, and you want to, above all, have your own thing going on. And this kind of links in with the neediness point to some extent, because guys who are motivated by their mission, to use that somewhat overused phrase, but it works, are going to naturally give more time to that mission than to the women that they interact with, okay? The mission comes first, and then after that, the love life maybe comes second, but then maybe they've got kids or something, for example, and then the kids come second, and then the love life comes third. Or, you know, they've got older parents, so they come second, and then, or they come first, and, you know, so basically the woman is further down the line. The love life is further down the line, okay? And that's not to do the woman down in any way, but it's just that, look, I mean, we have, as we always say, very limited time on this planet, you know, very, very limited time on this planet. What are you going to do with that time? You know, for me, I want to write. So this month I've been getting up every day, sitting down at the computer and writing for a number of hours, okay, in order to get the work done. That has taken precedence over other things, okay? And it's taken some precedence over, say, dating, or at least, you know, some aspects of dating, because what is more important to me? Is it more important to me, you know, to be dating somebody or to be doing the work? Well, you've got to be focused on longer term as opposed to sort of short-term pleasure. You've got to be focused on longer term ambition, right? And yes, there's short-term pleasure to be had from dating, as there is from going to the club or getting drunk, or, you know, all these kinds of things. But where's the long-term satisfaction going to come from, okay? Well, it's going to come from your mission. So you've got to look to the longer term. And the more discipline you've got around that, All right, she's going to realize that, and that's going to make you seem more attractive as well. Basically, if you've got other stuff going on than her, that makes you more fascinating. It makes you more of an object of fascination, because she's used to guys kissing her butt, to be frank. You know, she's like, look, I'm cute. Why are you not all over me like all these other guys are? Well, darling, I'd really like you, but unfortunately tonight I've got to work because we've got this thing in a couple of days' time, etc., etc. Well, that's going to make you more covetable, isn't it? Because it's like, well, hang on a minute, this guy has value. He's got a life. He's got stuff going on, okay? So all of those things I think are really important. Not being boring in conversation, all right? And not just imparting information backwards and forwards. Not being too needy in terms of goals generally, and being on your mission, because that will in itself make you less needy. And it will also give you more interesting things to talk about as well, okay? Because people who are passionate about whatever it is they do, in conversation are more interesting, okay? Because if you don't do very much, you know, you've got a basic job that you're not really into, you come home, you watch some Netflix, you maybe go out for a meal once a month, you go down the mall shopping, maybe you go to see a sports game, and then it's back to work again on the Monday. You know, there's not that that's not a good life for many people, because it is, but there's not a lot distinguishing it. Do you know what I mean? There's not a lot of substance there to grab hold of. Whereas you've got somebody who's got this passion for this thing that they want to do in this short period of time they've got before they die and their consciousness is extinguished from this planet forever. You know, so the stakes are pretty high here, guys. And you're passionate about that thing. That makes you more interesting. That makes you an object of fascination, okay? And that passion should come through from every fibre of your being. It should come through in your eye contact, in the way that you talk, in the way that you draw people to you. There's so many different things. There's so many different strands to this. But are you an object of fascination or not? Okay, and you've got to be honest with yourself and look at yourself and think, am I drawing people in or not? You know, do people listen to me? Do people want to hear what I've got to say? And if they don't, then you need to have a think about why the reasons for that might be. Okay? And this does actually bleed into the charisma side of things as well, because charisma really is demonstrating these things, or it is, charisma really is the aura around you that is composed of things like your passions in life, okay, your non-neediness, your independence, your warmth. These things melded together become your charisma, and that's what draws people to you. All right, so lots to chew on there. Hope you enjoyed it. Give me a comment below. Let me know what you think about this. If you would like to get on the phone with me and talk about potentially doing some coaching together, we can do that. You can have a free 15-minute call. The link is below, so book that call today. Well, we can have the call at another point, but get on and book it today. And you should grab my collection of 11 books about dating and the dating marketplace and strategies that you can use to get better outcomes. It's called Renegade Dating Blueprint. The link is below. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and I'll see you again very soon. Bye-bye.